standing on top.
Oh my God.
Harsh.
That was kind of high.
Yeah, it was.
But
Miami back then were not like stand-up citizens either.
no. Yeah, fair point.
Still on the
Or
border.
liked nationally. Well, good evening, everybody. We are almost at the end of the week, which means the start of Miami Beach Pride.
Woohoo!
Wahoo! Excited.
One of the first gay pride parades in America. It's going to be fun.
Not like the one we had here. That was a whole different kind of parade.
Somehow I knew that was
Whole
coming.
Different kind of fun.
Bygones be bygones.
Does anybody feel like we're in Groundhog Day?
I kind of feel a little bit.
Groundhog, yeah.
I hope they don't make as much news as we did. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
But maybe in a good way.
all right.
It is good.
Going to be interesting. All right, well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Thursday, September 16th, 2021, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you're going to see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We're part of the Happening Out television network, Hotspots Magazine, and WMEG Events. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. Merged, we bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. Let's welcome, first up, Dr. Tai Houser. He is an associate professor of English and Humanities at Broward College. Additionally, he teaches for extended periods of time at international colleges in the China, the India, the Spain, and the Bolivia. Good evening, Tai.
Good evening, the anchor. Let's welcome anchor Glen Weinzimer. Glen is the founder of the Smart Ride, the largest AIDS bicycle ride in the country, and the only one to give of its size to give back 100% of funds raised to AIDS service organizations. He also owns Bona Italian Restaurant, where they celebrate Give Back Mondays, where a portion of all sales go to a different charity every week. Welcome, Glenn.
Thank you, Ty. Let's welcome anchor Dr. Nick Metheny. He is an assistant professor at the University of Miami School of Nursing and Health Studies, as well as a registered nurse. Holding a PhD from the University of Michigan, his research focuses on preventing domestic violence and its negative health implications in LGBTQ plus populations globally. Good evening, Nick.
Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, a 1999 inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 5 books of poetry. He's also an entertainment journalist, and his celebrity interviews and music reviews run in a variety of regional LGBT and mainstream publications and on websites. His Screensaver movie review column can be found in South Florida Gay News, San Francisco's Bay Area Reporter, on RottenTomatoes.com, and more. Good evening, Gregg.
Good evening. My mother will be so glad I'm breaking the fast with some doctors.
Very exciting.
We are the reporters for
Do you need a
Queer
cracker?
News Tonight. And this evening, we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, September 16th.
Well, let's begin by queering up politics. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Melania Trump is going to accept an LGBTQ plus award from the Log Cabin Republicans during a gala at Mar-A-Lago. The gay GOP group Log Cabin Republicans have announced that the next recipient of its Spirit of Lincoln Award will be former First Lady Melania Trump. The award will be presented at the group's annual Spirit of Lincoln Gala, which will be held at the Trump's Florida home, Mar-A-Lago, on November 6th. The Spirit of Lincoln Award recognizes individuals who have displayed the spirit of Abraham Lincoln in their professional careers for the betterment of humanity. The award itself is a bust of Abraham Lincoln by Illinois sculptor John McClary, specifically created for this award. In a statement, the Log Cabin Republicans tried to explain how the former First Lady deserved the honor. Quote, during and after her time in office, First Lady Melania Trump has proven time and again her leadership on those principles. Her Be Best initiative focused on those most vulnerable among us, children, by encouraging them to be their best, drawing attention to young Americans' social and emotional issues in health, issues that LGBT Americans of all stripes empathize with, end quote.
You
The
know,
big
I think,
like.
Melania said it best. Remember, she said, "I don't really care." You?
Could you imagine? She's like, "This is bust. This is not bust. This is bust. Bought and paid for."
Does your Slovenian accent?
That was
Thank you.
very good. Yeah. The big lie just continues. This is just ridiculous that she's being recognized for anything to do with the LGBTQ community.
Instead of gala, I think we need to say gala for this. We need to take the gay out of it.
Yeah.
There's no why.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's an issue where the Log Cabin Republicans after 2020 should we be paying attention to the conservative voice in the LGBTQ community? We're going to report later on the California recall. Some estimates, 17, 20% of the LGBTQ community is conservative, participating in like hashtag Walkaway and Log Cabin Republicans. What do you think about the number of conservative LGBT there are in America?
Every group has a loose cannon.
No, I mean, I think the science tells us that like a lot of the reason that more LGBT people are progressive is because the progressive wing of American politics is the one that wants to improve inclusion and diversity, right? But we also know that economic interests trump a lot of those things, and so I would venture to guess that a lot of that 17% is at the upper echelon of our economic ladder, and those interests are just overshadowing any of the LGBT issues they might care about.
Do you all agree with that? That a larger percentage of those that are identifying with Log Cabin Republicans are wealthier? Do you,
I would agree.
I would
Yeah.
believe that and if they're not wealthy, they still believe in those conservative financial. I just don't think that it overshadows human rights and all of that, and anything that was on the Trump agenda, that if you're still a Log Cabin Republican, and then giving her the award at this point shows that you weren't just a Log Cabin Republican, you were a Trump Log Cabin Republican, because I'm sure there are other very worthy people that are Republican and gay that would have deserved this award.
Okay, very interesting.
Next, we'll queer up the world. Cuba may be set to open door for gay marriage. The draft of a new family code of Cuba released Wednesday proposes allowing same-sex couples to marry and adopt, as well as giving children greater participation in decisions that affect them. The preliminary draft, which must be approved by Cuba's parliament, then go to a grassroots plebiscite, comes almost 3 years after the island's communist government backed away from enshrining gay marriage protections in its new constitution in the face of opposition. Evangelical groups objected to the constitutional proposal to eliminate the description of marriage as a union of a man and a woman and change it to the union of, quote, two people with absolutely equal rights and obligations, end quote. Cuba's current family code dates from 1975 and has been overtaken by new family structures and social changes, legal experts tell us.
Well, even in Cuba, the evangelicals have found a way to stir up the hatred.
I mean, I wonder if maybe this is some sort of like small piece or token given to the uprisings that were happening a couple of months ago. This idea of reform and of opening up society. Like, I don't know if it will actually do much, but is it virtue signaling by the communist regime?
I mean, I'd be curious, Al, on a follow-up to what Nick said, we did that big story that week on everything that was going on in the oppression and the gentleman that went to the embassy in order to be able to speak to you. Like, where does that play right now?
It's both questions are interesting. My gut is that's not what is going on here. Mariela Castro has been working on LGBT rights for a lot of years through Cinesex, which is the organization in Cuba designed to educate the Cuban population on sexuality issues, including and principally LGBT and T. Cuba has a good position on trans, and there was no cost for trans surgery in Cuba. And in my first visit to Cuba, which was with the president's visit, and then my subsequent visits, I brought thousands of people to Cuba. The number one thing that I came away with in my first couple of visits is how generally accepting in a Latin culture LGB and of course T was. I don't think that that's what's going on here, because they have been working for a number of years to try to have broader recognition of marriage. I think you probably, and this is just a guess, get it right, that 3 years ago, under the Raul Castro regime, they came very close to doing this and ultimately backed down because of the response that they got from the church, which is amazing, because if it's a balanced fight between the Catholic Church and communism, the Catholic Church won.
Yeah.
That's what's strange. What we're hearing now is perhaps with a combination of what we've seen in recent months, but they're going to make a very strong go of it again. And I suspect we're going to see gay marriage in Cuba.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That sounds great. All right, next up, we queer up entertainment. Everyone get ready, because this is a long one. Rolling Stone revised its 500 greatest songs of all time. Do you agree? In 2004, Rolling Stone published its list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. It's one of the most widely read stories in the magazine's history, viewed hundreds of millions of times on their site. But a lot has changed since 2004. Back then, the iPod was relatively new. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you were young.
But you were still older. It was relatively new, and Billie Eilish was 3 years old. To create the new version of the RS500, they convened a poll of more than 250 artists, musicians, and producers, from Angelique Kidjo, to Zedd Sam Smith, to Megan Thee Stallion, M. Ward to Billy Ward, as well as figures from the music industry and leading critics and journalists. They each sent in a ranked list of their top 50 songs, and Rolling Stone tabulated the results. Here are the top 10 songs on the new list, as well as the songs they replaced. Number 10, Outkast. Hey Ya, replaced, you like the way I did that, replaced Ray Charles, What Do You Think? What do you do? Number 9, don't roll your eyes.
No, I'm watching the monitor.
Okay, is that what that was? Okay. Number 9, Fleetwood Mac Dreams replaced Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit. Number 8, Missy Elliott, Get Your Freak On, replaced the Beatles' Hey Jude. Number 7,
The gayest Hey Jude
ever. Thank you. The Beatles' Strawberry Fields Forever replaced Chuck Berry, Johnny B. Good. Number 6, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, dropped from number 4 and replaced the Beach Boys' Good Vibrations. Better?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Number 5, Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, moves up from number 9 and replaces Aretha Franklin's Respect. Ty, take a deep breath. Okay. Number 4, Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, drops from number 1 and replaces Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Number 3, Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, replaces John Lennon, Imagine. Number 2, Public Enemy, Fight the Power, replaces the Rolling Stones' I Can't Get No Satisfaction, which is a nightly thing for me. And at the top of the new chart of the 500 greatest songs of all time is Aretha Franklin's Respect, topping Bob Dylan's Like a Rolling Stone.
I'm shocked that you're not a big pop music star, and I'm really shocked.
Yeah.
First,
You know what? Several people have said that, and so I'm shocked. You're shocked.
yeah.
By my count, there are 22 LGBTQ artists on the list, including Carly Simon, who came out in an interview I did with her in 2008.
Oh,
Well, look at you.
I was saying,
Just doing my
fancy.
job.
Was that a mic job?
That was a
Oh,
mic
you just
Kind
said
of.
that? Okay.
It was.
Starting the new year already being
Yeah.
There's not nearly enough ABBA on this list.
I absolutely agree, Nick.
Yeah,
I absolutely
I'm
agree.
Where's the
100%
new
with
album?
you.
Where are any of the others?
Did
The
Adam
old
make
album.
the top 500? I didn't look at that.
Who?
I didn't
I might have had one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, at least Robin's Dancing on My Own got on there.
Yes, love Robin. Yes, that's good.
Yeah. Anybody in particular that you're just outraged didn't make like the top 10? Just
I'm just a little surprised that there aren't older groups that made the top 10.
Like the Beethoven. I mean,
Yeah,
that was-
Brahms.
you know,
The
that-
Beethoven.
You remember when we went to the first concert they had?
Yeah, they
Al?
had the white wigs on.
We did. It was great. We got all dressed before it was in to be trans.
Coat and tails.
You know, all of our viewers know it's the end of the week because I'm sitting with crazy here. Just crazy. All right.
All right, let's queer politics. What California's recall exit polls tell us about LGBTQ voters? Like the state at large, an overwhelming majority of California's LGBTQ population voted no to a Republican-led effort to recall Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, and remove him from office, according to an NBC News exit poll of early and election day voters. The poll found that 7% of California recall voters identify as LGBTQ. Of those, 83% voted no to the recall and 17% voted yes. With about 70% of the projected vote counted, 64% of all Californians voted against recalling Newsom, and 36% voted in favor. I mean, it's about what we expect, right?
Right.
It's
I
not
mean,
like
it's
it's that
sort
of-
surprising,
The
at least to
breakdown
me.
is-
Although for a minute there were some concerns that the recall would happen. Should it happen, there was a pretty good chance that a Republican was going to be elected. So to me, it's more like people voted no just to keep any of those 24 Republicans from getting
It was like
elected, right?
status quo is the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, better than any of these.
You know, historically, that observation, your end observation, is not true. That's how Arnold Schwarzenegger came to power.
Exactly.
They did not say a Republican is so bad we won't recall the Democratic governor, and that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, but Schwarzenegger wasn't coming off of a Trump presidency.
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of which, I want to know who has the
Coming off
footage
World Cup.
of Newsom's ex-wife, beautiful Kimberly Guilfoyle, frothing at the mouth when she found out about this recall.
Yeah.
Just, could you imagine?
You know, the news.
She frosted the mouth normal.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. The news of this exit poll is that there's no news.
Yeah.
Y'all have got it right, in my opinion. First off, they're estimating 7% of the voters are LGBT, which is exactly what we report over and over and over again in the last 2 years. The election results of supporting in LGBT were 83% versus 17% wanting to recall, which presumably means Republican. By the way, the LGBT vote on Trump-Biden was 83% and 17%, exactly the same.
I'll tell
And
you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
one last note. The 64% and the 14%, or the statistical count in California is almost identical to the presidential election of Biden and Trump. So over the course of nearly this year, there has been absolutely no change at all. The Republicans have made no gains. The LGBTQ community has not retrenched in any way at all. Those are all good signs for
Yes.
2022.
And I will tell you two things that will change is that as soon as Gen Z becomes old enough to vote, that 83% is going to go way up,
Continue.
and that 7% is going to go way, way up.
Yes.
Now we've got to get to those other red states and try to turn the tide
Yeah,
there.
you want to move to North
We-
Dakota?
No, I don't. But well, actually, a cabin in North Dakota would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send a postcard.
You seem like a Wyoming girl. to me,
I do.
so, yeah.
I've got the big hat and the boots. All right, we're back to me. That is our queer news headlines for today. So let's catch up on the LGBTQ plus news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies.
Queer News Tonight has reported on coronavirus on every news broadcast since January 6th, 2020. Tonight we report that as of today, more than 2,974,000 LGBTQ plus Americans have contracted COVID-19.
Queer News Tonight remembers the more than 47,000 LGBTQ plus Americans that have died from coronavirus.
But the news is improving because as of today, more than 382 million vaccination doses have been administered in the United States.
That is our pandemic news for tonight. Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine and supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ plus religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
Hi everybody, my name is Eddie Marti Krang and I'm your field and community organizer for SAVE, Safeguarding American Values for Everyone, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, we finished tonight's queer headlines with a segment that we call LGBTQ plus Flash News. So, in LGBTQ plus Flash News, DragCon Los Angeles will make a return. See how I did that?
I saw that.
Return.
Really well done.
In May 2022. And Tai, don't fuck it up. Guess who's back in the house? Heels clicking and clacking about. They call her Mother. And RuPaul is bringing her children back to Los Angeles for the first DragCon since the DragCon UK in January of 2020. The DragCons in New York and Los Angeles were both canceled in 2020 and in 2021 due to pandemic. So dust off those wigs and get your heels ready as the 10th DragCon takes place at the Los Angeles Convention Center from May 13th through the 15th, 2022.
So great, a RuPaul story. How much did you make, Al?
Do you need to have Paramount Plus in order to be able to see this?
Oh.
It's RuPaul's world. We're just taking up space in it.
That's so true. I would go. I've never been to one. I think it'd be fun.
They are amazing. You should go there. It's amazing. And all of those that say otherwise, 3 other people at this table, are haters.
Fine,
That's
Al and
all
I will
they
go.
are.
Whatever.
Nick and I will go to drag.
Take your dusty wig and
Leave
go.
now. Leave now. LGBTQ plus Flash News. History as Colorado's Jared Polis has first same-sex wedding of a sitting governor. Colorado Democratic Governor Jared Polis wed his longtime partner yesterday, making the first same-sex marriage of a sitting United States governor. In 2018, Polis became the first openly gay man ever elected governor in the United States. A decade earlier, he was the first openly gay man elected to the U.S. House. Polis and his now husband, Marlon Reese, were married yesterday in a traditional Jewish ceremony at the University of Colorado in Boulder.
It's a high holiday. It's Yom Kippur. He's Jewish. He got married on the highest holiday because we're fasting, and he saved a ton of money on the catering. Go ahead.
Did you call the governor cheap?
I called him, one Jew to another, like you and I. You can say whatever you want, but he's a mensch. He's a mensch. He's gone well. He just doesn't spend the money.
I get that. He has a state to
Who wants a schmear and lock it?
pandemic.
Or he can serve his bagels
He's
to
got
them.
a state
He can't
to
do
run.
anything heavy. A schmear.
I wonder if Jared's mother, greeting card mogul Susan Paulus Schutz, gave the couple a book of her poetry as a wedding present.
You can't come with all the notes and then make us all look bad. Okay?
In practice, you were a lot funnier.
Right. I have to say, just in seriousness, this is a fun story. We all love it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this story in 2001? A sitting governor marrying a man while he's in office. The world's changed in America.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. More LGBTQ plus Flash News. Gay priest refuses to marry straight couples to expose inequality. Lars Gardfelt, 56, a priest in the Church of Sweden, a notably progressive Lutheran church.
Sweden?
I said Sweden. Just
Did they
like
speak that way?
Well, they did on what was that show with Billy? Whatever
Sesame
his name.
Street.
Sesame Street. All right.
The Swedish chef in the
Sweden,
Muppets.
yes, Lutheran church. I'm going on, and he is railing against what he sees as discriminatory policy in the best possible way. In the Church of Sweden, priests are not obliged to marry a couple if they have conscientious objections to the union. Under this rule, clergy can turn away same-sex couples if they are morally opposed. This rule remains in place despite the fact that same-sex couples have been allowed to marry within the Church of Sweden since 2009. Speaking on Swedish radio, Gardfeld, who works in a parish in Gothenburg, said that he will no longer marry opposite-sex couples to show the absurdity of refusing marriage to two consenting adults.
Turnabout is fair play. Go, Father Lars.
No, I think it's great, but you know, they fail to mention Sweden's like one of the most secular countries in the world. So
Yeah.
10 people get married in the Church of Sweden every year. But this is good. It's a good, you know, it's a good soapbox to have, for sure.
Debbie Downer.
Just saying, like,
You know, wouldn't you like to see this model applied in the United States, where every liberal, civil rights promoting bakery in America says, no, we're not going to do your wedding cake because it's a man and a woman.
and honestly,
Well, they are doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a conscientious objection to sitting next to you, Al. Do I get to? Do I get to work on that cake now? Let me eat cake.
God. All right, LGBTQ flash news. South Florida Gay News says Miami Beach is to unveil Harvey Milk Way on Friday.
Yay.
Our partners over at South Florida Gay News report that Harvey Milk will have a street named after him on Friday, September 17th at 6 p.m. in Miami Beach on the eve of Pride. The street sign unveiling of Harvey Milk Way will be on the southeast corner of Pride Park at 1700 Convention Center Drive. The ceremony was originally planned months ago, but has been delayed several times due to the ongoing pandemic. His nephew, Stuart Milk, helps lead the Milk Foundation and hopes to be at Friday's ceremony. For complete details on this story and others, pick up the latest copy of SFGN on newsstands today.
I really like the South Florida Gay News. They deliver stories like this. They
great.
help a news program like us be able to deliver local stories like this. I love the fact that Miami Beach is doing this.
I can't help but want to like suggest a name change though to like the Harvey Milky Way.
Ooh, now I'm hungry.
I love you because I swear to God I had Milky Way in my head just now. It's great they're doing this. It doesn't change my life, but I'm glad they're doing
Holiday,
it.
you can't have Milky Way.
No, well, it's almost sundown.
I can't have Milky Ways with meat, but I can have Milky Ways with dairy, and tonight's break fast is dairy.
There we go.
Okay.
Next is Al Ferguson Way.
Run away.
Verklempt.
You're verklempt?
Yes.
Are you? Okay.
Spilkas?
LGBTQ plus flash news. Caitlyn Jenner receives just 1% of the vote and releases a statement after crushing defeat. In Tuesday's election, about 2/3 of those who cast ballots voted against recalling Newsom, a Democrat and an ally of LGBTQ plus people. A second optional question on the ballot asked voters who should replace Newsom if he is removed. There were 46 candidates, 24 of them Republicans, including Jenner. She received just, wait for it, 1.1% of the vote. In a Tuesday night interview, Jenner said that Newsom, quote, didn't campaign on not one of his successes because he doesn't have any. I can't believe that this many people actually voted to keep him in office. It's a shame, honestly. It's a shame. You kind of get the government you deserve. End quote. Watch this.
He didn't campaign to do this campaign, this recall, on not one of his successes because he doesn't have any. And I can't believe that this many people actually voted to keep him in office. It's a shame. Honestly, it's a shame. You kind of get the government you deserve. So I have some thanks. When I decided to do this, obviously coming in as an outsider, I've been around politics a long time, but never actually running for office. And I thought I really need some great people to surround me, to help me get through this, that know the ins and outs of politics. And I was able to assemble a great team, great group of people. And I have to thank all of them for giving me the guidance, the help, the work on issues to find out where the issues are, what do we need to fight for.
I think this is great. Now, Caitlyn Jenner has the number of people who voted for her equal to the number of Olympic medals she has.
Oh dear.
It's a nice parody.
You know, I'm going to be a minority opinion here. I completely agree with Caitlyn Jenner. I do. I completely agree with her. 10 million votes representing 30-some million Californians, and 99% of them got the exact kind of government that they deserve. Not Caitlyn Jenner.
Thank God for that U-turn, because
It-
I was undoing my mic and I was out of here.
I'm telling you, it was rigged. I demand a recount.
I'm surprised even 1% of the population voted for her.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had that many friends.
Yeah.
It must have been a really slutty leopard that they had to kill for that trip.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Wow.
I want to do
Well,
eyebrows.
that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
No, we're LGBT.
Is our community important to you?
I'm not sure it is right now.
Is it, Nick?
But help us by liking and subscribing. Please ring the bell for updates and share this news with your friends and family.
Oh, post this broadcast. I was busy with the bell. Post this broadcast in the many groups you are a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television network in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
Clearly, some of the anchors tonight are celebrating Miami Beach Pride early. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. And that is the passion of the Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dr. Tai Houser, Dr. Nick Metheny, Glen Weinzimer, and Gregg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the